Hi there, I'm Andy Robertson, and this is Family Gamer TV. Welcome back to Family Gamer TV. This week I'm with Toby, and you've had a 3DS for a bit, and you've had Super Mario 3D Land.
Yep.
How's that?
That's been good, although I think it started something called DS Wars in our house.
Yeah.
So this is about trying to share and to play together. So we're having to learn a whole new kind of, I don't know, a whole new way of being as a family. Just it's
Yeah, I think it is different having a handheld compared to having a console. Because the console's sort of static, it's owned by everyone in the room. But a handheld, you're holding it, and so whoever's not playing is sort of excluded. So it's a different sort of thing to share.
Yeah, so the DS itself is great. We've turned, I think the first thing I did was just turn on all the parental controls, so that was really easy to figure out.
Yeah.
And I left the 3D parental control so it was on, or you could do it yourself, but I went back and changed that because we were finding that certainly on Super Mario 3D Land, that actually it was, as Bethan and Leah sat side by side, neither of them are then viewing it from that kind of straight on angle. So it looked like they were straining and kind of trying to see what was going on, and part of that's trying to stop the other one getting it
as well.
So. This is Mario. Go this way. There's a B jump. Up. Goes up, and then A is a little one.
Yeah, so the 3D effect on the 3DS, it's this lenticular lens that has sort of slots, and so you have to hold it so you can see it directly in front.
Yeah.
So like you say, you can just turn it off with the parental controls, but it's also a slider you can turn off, but the problem with that is the person who's playing it, maybe holding it, thinks, I'll push it on just a little bit, no one will notice, but then the person next to them, they can't see it, so...
There we go. Yeah. Whoops, up.
I think Bethan quite likes having it on. Leah at 4, I think, maybe a bit young. Let's just kind of focus on it. Although she loves it, and she started to make up Mario songs. So
cute.
Wherever we go, Mario's gone to the supermarket to buy a DS to play. And all sorts of variants of that.
That's nice.
So this Mario guy, he's had quite an impact.
Yeah.
And I think we've got through the first World 1 to kind of...
Yeah, so you basically play through a series of different worlds. Each world has a theme, and then that's split into levels, and they're sort of like 1-1, 1-2. And then every now and again you get a break-up level that's like, will give you some bonuses. And the end of each world is then at a castle where usually you meet Bowser and or some sort of bigger enemy.
That's the princess bit as well at the end, is it?
Yes. Yeah, although I thought I was going to see it, because in the traditional Mario games, you get to the end, you see the princess, and she gets whisked away the last second, and it's like, oh no, the princess is in another castle. She's not really here. But in this one, it seems to there's a couple of toads there, and the little mushroom guys called Toad. I guess only one of them's called Toad. And then you just proceed to the next level. Okay. So yeah. Yeah,
well, they've enjoyed as well. I think they've enjoyed working out that you can get different things out of them. A couple of mushrooms you can get outfits out of.
Yeah, the power-ups.
Yeah, and so flying, being able to make Mario fly is quite good fun.
Yeah, and that's the Tanuki suit, which is really popular, and they've brought back for Super Mario 3D Land, where you have a tail, but somehow magically it makes you fly. It's like wiggly a tail, and I'm not quite sure how the logic works there, but it's a popular power-up.
No, it's good, it works.
Good. You hold your finger on the jump button, and you can sort of float around, and that's the main way I die, is falling off the edge of something. So if you can do something to prolong your flight...
Yeah, I'm not sure the girls have figured out that that's dying. They just too bad. We'll start again. They were a bit startled when it said game over at one point, that had they won or something.
They finished it. That's it.
We finished, game over. Should we start it again?
Yeah.
But they've picked it up really quickly. Even Leah, I think, although she likes going around in circles and jumping.
Just for fun.
But
how about Matthias? Does he play at all? Is he had a go, or just
so he likes to try and kind of liberate it from his sister's clutches, but that's
he went off with it, like the Skylanders. Cool. Well, we'll have to check back and see how they get on as they spend a bit more time with it. Yeah. But talking about some newer games now, I've been playing finally Mario Kart 7, which is the 3DS Mario Kart game.
Mario Kart with wings.
Yeah, as we talked about. Because in this game you get to not only drive, but you can fly as well. If you take off on a jump, then your kart will pop out a sort of a glider wing, and you can then use the 3DS controls to steer.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is actually. And the way you can customise your karts again is unusual for a Mario game. But it wasn't until I actually played it that I got a sense that the extra horsepower isn't just graphical, it's not just visual, it just feels more like a console game. So whereas the DS Mario Kart game was great, and I really enjoyed it, it still didn't quite feel like a fully fleshed out experience. So there were sort of some things which just felt more limited, both visually and perhaps how the kart behaved. Now on the 3DS you also get some extra options as well. There's a mode where you can actually race just using the tilt control. But interestingly, the only way to do this is if you do it in first person, which means you actually have to look from the perspective of the driver, which is really unusual for Mario Kart because it changes it from a really sort of kart-based game. You can actually work out your angle of the corner and sort of feel... And you've played a bit of real racing, haven't you? So it's not a different sort of game, but that sort of perspective, when you're tilting it like this, I think there's some sort of ascent to that style of gameplay that is much easier for a beginner. Yeah. So, I mean, do you think you might...
I think we'd certainly
be won over from real racing to Mario Kart?
I think so. I mean, Bethan's been playing real racing as well, and she quite likes it. She's enjoyed that kind of first-person experience driving around a track, although she prefers it when I turn off all the opponents. So I could imagine her wanting to have that experience on a DS as well, or 3DS.
Yeah, 3DS, and it has, it's in 3D. So again, once you're in first person and you're in 3D,
so I had no idea that it also had tilt controls, and I hadn't figured out yet that on Super Mario 3D Land, we figured out the binoculars, but we've been using the buttons to zoom in and steer, and without realising that you could actually
lift it and
kind of move it around to lift.
What's this?
Oh, you can look around. It's cool, isn't it?
Look.
So you can look around the room.
That is so unfair.
Look around. So you have to move it like that, and then you can see. Goal. That's what I want to get to.
Yeah, well, it's not something you normally do with a handheld, so there's no reason that you'd realise, unless you maybe moved it by mistake, or you'll probably. But you can use the button, but that's a really nice way to do it because it gives you. Whereas the button's quite limited in how much movement, you've obviously got all the movement you want to look around the room, and it's something they've used in other games as well. Yeah, well, we'll have to get you trying Mario Kart on the 3DS.
You just drive around and round and race. And
well, that's the other thing. Good point, because Mario Kart traditionally has always been circuit racing, which is just doing laps. Whereas now in this Mario Kart 7, you've got some point-to-point races, so it's more like a rally sort of thing where you're just going, and the courses are much longer. Yeah. And it takes you into some of the environments. If you'd played Wii Fit or Pilot Wings Resort on the 3DS, or Wii Fit on the Wii, it takes you to the island location where those games are played. Right. Yeah, so it's really good.
So that sounds a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
So I think that one of the slightly boring things sometimes about real racing and even Forza 4 is that actually by the time I've been around 3 times, that's enough. Yeah. I don't want to go around 4 or 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, so a point-to-point race gets rid of some of that repetition. And also it means you have to be better at memorising what the courses are, so it favours different drivers. So I really like that. We'll get you trying that soon.
Playing that,
yeah. That's all we've got time for this week on Family Gamer TV, but we'll be back with more games soon.